Hey everyone, this is Il Carnifice, and I have recorded some PvP for you all today. Just some basic invasion slash getting invaded. Not a whole lot of these fights are what I would consider honorable. As a matter of fact, none of them are what I would consider honorable. But I was kind of itching to get some content on my YouTube channel because it's been pretty barren except for one test and one video response to another person. So, I had some of these clips and I wanted to put them together and try to get it to load up. So yeah, there's just me invading the forest a little bit. I invade the township and I get invaded in the burg for a little while. So just some PvP. I got about 4 different builds that I've used. Pretty much standard dex builds. Some of them with a little bit of magic. One of them's a straight Faith Mage caster. And it's a little excessive, if I do say so myself. So, but it's got low vitality and stuff like that, so it's not that bad. But yeah, so anyways, back to the fighting. This particular invasion, well, this is a new character that I made actually. I was trying to kind of get a straight Pyro character that was, had a lot of castings and was fast, had a lot of vitality, so I could withstand some of the black magics or dark magics, excuse me. But you know what? It takes a lot of practice. Not everybody can just throw on a Pyro glove and become Dark Souls Mind Eye overnight. But there's a few times in this invasion that and for starters, I don't know why I was running away because they weren't in the Cat Covenant. I probably could have stopped anyway, but I go like way too far out of the way. I don't know. It just kind of seems like a waste of time now that I'm watching the video. But I see that I have an invader, so I think, oh, you know what? I'll have some chance to come in. I'll have a partner so he can take the heat off me. So I squeeze a humanity and I head back into the fray. As I'm coming in, I see that guy sitting there, so I think, you know what? Maybe I can throw a fireball out there. And as of course, like I was saying, my unlock skills aren't the greatest yet, but I'm working on that. And there's a couple of times here where I kind of just I kind of panic of what's going on, and I screw up and push the wrong buttons and stuff like that. But I figured I would catch that guy with a wake up, and he's getting healed as I get over there. But he's not all the way there, so I figure if I can just run in and get a backstab on him, I can take him out. But he surprises me with that wrath, and I kind of miss the backstab. And I take damage during that parry. So it must have been a bit late. But either way, he's almost gone. But unfortunately, while I'm battling this guy, the host has already killed the other invader. So I gotta hurry up and try to pick that up. And like I said, there's probably a couple of times that I could have finished the fight early had I not just screwed up. And you'll see one of those screw-ups coming up here in just a minute. I managed to kind of roll through that blood loss and the dark bead, or pursuers at the same time. But you'll notice as I come up behind him, I have a great chance to kind of backstab him to finish the fight. And instead, I changed to Fire Tempest and cast behind him. Now, I don't know what was going through my head at the time, but I knew, during the fight, I knew, oh, I fucked up. I knew that. I just didn't think it was going to be so bad. And then, of course, he catches me again with his R1 spam. But, I tried to work through it. So instead of trying to fight back, I figure I might as well heal, because if I've gone this far and I've invested this much into it, I might as well just try to win. So you see me backing up and I squeeze another humanity. But he didn't have enough time to come behind me for the lock BS, so. But as you can see, I kind of took his magic for granted because it was doing such little damage to me earlier. And then when he's up in my face with his dark bead, it does quite a bit. But I'm able to pull off the lock backstab or a punish. And then I take 2 more dark beads to the face, but I'm, lucky for me, I was able to get a combustion off just in time. If you spam it enough, eventually it'll work. And I was kind of mad about that, so I gave him some rude gestures afterwards, but no big deal. These next couple of matches, These are characters that you'd never see on my stream. First of all, because I'm not really into magic builds. I'm not really into faith builds. But I do have them. You know, I think everybody's got one or two. And this particular build is too high. He's over-leveled for Fight Club. He's, I think, 138. So, you know, every once in a while I'll use him to get invasions. And as you can see, it's way too overpowered. Either that or that guy was just incredibly weak. I don't know. He was at least level 100, so, you know, he could have defended himself a bit better. And I'm not certain if I recognize this person from Twitch or not, but I kind of waved to him because I think I did. So. But we start off, and at first because you know what, I have a hard time, and I don't know if any of you else have a hard time with this, but I have a hard time telling the difference between Sunlight Spear and Great Lightning Spear, just, you know, based off the color. And now that I realize it, I think that Sunlight Spear is a bit darker than Great Lightning Spear, but when you're not using them, they look rather the same. So, yeah, but I quickly realized it was Sunlight Spear after it knocked me on my ass. But lucky for me, I was able to dodge roll some of the other ones. And of course, using the scythe's reach to my advantage because my opponent has such a small sword. And dodged another one. And not quite getting those rolling R1s, but I figured I would try to bait him in with a couple of bow and arrow attacks, and I got what I asked for, and I wasn't prepared when he got to me, and it almost killed me. And I think I finish him off with a two-handed R2. Yeah, just like the last person. That's a really good move. That weapon, the scythe, is really good protection against rollback stabs, and so is the Man Serpent Greatsword R2. Two-handed R2. Now this is that Faith Mage that I was telling you guys about. As you can see, I'm not using the Bellowing Crest Dragon Ring, or Bellowing Dragon, whatever the hell that ring is called, or the Crown of Dusk. I just got the Wolf Ring on, the Favor Ring, and even with the Favor Ring, my endurance and vitality is super small. This character is basically all magic. There's no dex, no strength. It's basically just faith and intelligence. That's why my castings are so ridiculously slow, and I have to use a enchanted weapon instead of a naturally reinforced weapon. But you know, even without those rings on, with the right catalyst and the right amount of stat investment, you know, those new dark magics, they'll work regardless. I think it's too much when people add the Crown of Dusk and the Bellowing Crest Dragon Ring. That's just too much. But yeah, this guy, at first I was a bit upset with how the fight was going, because, well, you know, obviously he's using a whip, so, you know, I can't really be mad about that, but, you know, he ends up getting me in this one. But it's not this fight that gets me upset. It's the one I actually invade him right afterwards for my very next invasion. And we just bowed, and he beat me and all that, and he bowed afterwards. So I figured, you know, I'll give him a bow again. And then here he goes shooting a soul spear at me. And I thought, oh, you know, this guy's trying to mess me up while I'm bowing right after we just had a fight. So whatever, I'm going to give him the business. But then I realized afterwards that he probably was meaning to cast his crystal magic weapon. Instead, accidentally shot an unlocked soul spear at me. So during the fight, I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to spam dark magic at this dude because he tried to hit me while I was bowing. So, you know, here I go with the Pursuers and the Dark Bead, which is a tactic that I hate use against me. So, you know, I'm trying to, you know, tick this guy off, so I did it to him. So I started feeling real bad about it. And then, take a look at the amount of souls that he gave me. After I saw that, I stopped caring. I stopped feeling bad about this guy, because he's almost a max level character. So, you know, fuck that guy. And this is the last fight. Probably this is the best one-on-one match that I had this entire clip. Definitely hard to find good matches without, you know, people that you know. But The reason I say this was a good match, not because of my tactics, it's because I get pretty low on health, and, well, you know, I'm not going to spoil it. We'll just let the video speak for itself. But there's a couple of times, and I probably asked for this because of how much I'm using magic, and I do have a sword, so I probably should use that every once in a while, but he starts getting frustrated with his attempts to hit me because you know, if anybody has ever played on a fast-rolling mage character, you know that dodge button is your best friend, you know, because if you get hit, you know, it's done. So he starts, and I thought I was done right here. So I was like, oh, well, the fight's over. And then I realized I still had a bit of HP left, so I'm like panicking, looking for spells. What can I use against this guy and still try to dodge at the same time? And I thought one Wrath might have done it, but I had taken out my sword too late because what I was going to do was try to stagger BS him, and it didn't work out. And then, of course, I tried to cast another Soul Spear, of which I was out. But if you saw, he barely has any health. And I don't know why I thought White Dragon's Breath was going to be the spell that brought him down. But eventually it's one Dark Bead that does the work. So, and also, look at this. You know, a lot of people have been giving me a lot of high number of souls for fights. But, yeah, that's all I have for this upload. Hope to see you guys soon.